Yesterday, this poster was released for the upcoming Borderlands movie, and I didn't want to say anything about it yesterday because we were also told that there's going to be a trailer today for the full movie, and I wanted to make sure I saw the actual trailer before I gave my thoughts and opinions on this poster, because just at a glance, I didn't think it looked too good, so I kind of wanted to wait for the actual trailer. I'm not going to do a live reaction to it because I already saw it earlier, so I'm not going to try to recreate what I was doing while I was watching that, but I'll give you some of my thoughts on it because for the most part, I don't think the trailer looked so bad. Now, is this me saying I think the movie looks good? No, far from it, but I think my initial reaction to this could have been a lot worse than what it actually was, because just going by the general look of it, I don't think it's bad besides the characters, and I will kind of get to that in a moment. But the actual feel of the planet of Pandora and kind of the overall tone of the movie, I think works really well. I'm seeing some comments online, people saying it looks kind of like Guardians of the Galaxy, or it has that feeling to it. And I think that kind of is what's necessary for a Borderlands movie sort of thing. And if you actually look at the designs of everything, it does look like something out of the video game, but the live action version of it. But I do want to get to the big elephant in the room, and that really is the choice of the casting on this. Let me just kind of go back to that, because I don't think they have the right actors. I think a lot of it, for the most part, just feels like some of them, particularly like Cate Blanchett, are too old for the role that they're playing. Now, I'm not necessarily knocking Cate Blanchett because I think she's a fantastic actress, but she's just not right for the character of Lilith. You have this comparison here that I mocked up. It just doesn't work. She's like about 20 years older than what Lilith should have been. And if this was a Borderlands movie that was set within the future, then maybe I can see her playing the character or something like that, like an older version of the character. But obviously this isn't supposed to be based off of any particular game, because they don't have some of the characters from the first game. They don't have some of the characters from the second game. It's very much its own thing that they're trying to go with. And I kind of applaud that. I know some people will be put off by that, but I think that's kind of an okay approach if that's how you want to kind of tackle this sort of thing. But again, I don't understand the idea about aging up Lilith for this, or even aging up Patricia Tanis for that matter, because Jamie Lee Curtis is, again, about 20 years older than the character she's supposed to be playing. So that seems a bit weird. I think they want a bit more star power, or they think it's kind of funny to see Jamie Lee Curtis in this type of role. But I don't know. I think it would have been better off casting someone who fits the role better, like kind of going back to Lilith. I think someone like maybe Karen Gillan would have been a better choice to play the character. But if you have her, then you have Jack Black as Claptrap and Kevin Hart as Roland. Well, then you essentially got Jumanji. And that's another thing I kind of want to talk about too, is having Kevin Hart playing the character of Roland. Because, okay, I can respect that he actually took the time to try to get in shape for the role, but I just am not seeing it. He just doesn't strike me as kind of the serious person on the team in this one. Because even though he might be trying to play it that way, I mean, it just doesn't seem like it's going to work. I think there should have been someone else, obviously someone who is in shape, but I think someone who can actually play a more serious role. And I'm not necessarily sure who that could have been, but I just don't think Kevin Hart is the right choice for that. And I'm also kind of getting that with, I'm not super familiar with her. I know she's done Ariana Greenblatt. I just looking up on IMDb, she's done like bit parts in like what was it, in Ahsoka. She was the young Ahsoka. She was a young Gamora in the Avengers. So yeah, she's done some bit stuff like that. I'm not super familiar with her just as an actress, but she just doesn't strike me as Tiny Tina for this. I mean, looking at the comparison, it's like she doesn't necessarily look too bad, but when I was kind of going through the trailer and just seeing how she doesn't strike me as Tiny Tina in this. It just, I don't know. I mean, it just doesn't have the same chaotic energy that I think the character is supposed to have in this type of role. And this is really my complaints about this movie, is literally just the casting for it, because I don't think it's right. But I mean, that's what they went with. Eli Roth as a director, some of his stuff I like. I don't think he's a fantastic director. I think at best, a lot of his movies are just kind of like, okay, that wasn't so bad, or I didn't hate that movie. So I'm not like a Eli Roth fan or anything like that, but I think he is someone who can do a movie like this. It's just a matter of the execution. And looking at the trailer, I think, like, putting aside the casting, I think there is some potential to it, but again, this is just a huge pinch of salt because this is obviously them putting their best foot forward when they make a trailer, because that's what they're supposed to do. At the very least, I am glad that they're not just inserting a lot of modern day politics and other things like that, or at least if they are doing it, it wasn't present in the trailer. Some people might disagree with that. If they actually saw stuff like that, let me know in the comments, because maybe I just missed it or something like that. But either way, I'm glad that this is doing what I think a movie should be doing, which is something I advocate for a lot, is that a movie should be about escapism. If I just want to watch a crazy adventure like this, and if that's what it is, then fine. At the very least, I can be like, okay, I didn't hate it or something like that, or at least it was a momentary distraction. Then I can get back to my life. And I am happy about that sort of thing, but I'm not too optimistic as far as this being a movie goes, because like I said, I just don't think Eli Roth is necessarily the greatest director. So maybe it'll just kind of miss the mark, or maybe it'll just be kind of like a generic action movie, or maybe just kind of like a watered down Guardians of the Galaxy, because that could be it. But at the very least, I am glad that what I'm talking about when it comes to this movie is just stuff that we used to talk about when it comes to movies. It's whether it's when you see a trailer or a poster or something like that, we used to be able to talk about if the casting looks good, or who would we imagine instead of that character or that actor playing this character, who else can be playing that part. And that's the kind of stuff that to me is actually fun to talk about, instead of the politics that they try to shoehorn into a lot of modern movies that just turn off audiences. So if that's absent from this movie, then I will give it a check mark in my book for that much. But whether the movie is actually successful or not remains to be seen. But this is something that I am at the very least curious about, and I'm not necessarily hyped about watching this or anything like that, but I am going to keep an eye on it to see if there's any more news coming out about this movie, about whether it is just going to be what's presented on screen right here, or if they're going to try to insert a bunch of messages and other things like that. Because if that's the case, then I'm sorry, I'll have to pass this one up. But I mean, if they are just kind of being sincere and just want to tell a Borderlands movie, even if it's not the best one, then I can at least applaud them for the effort. But let me know what you think about this trailer in the comments below. And if you like this video, make sure you click that like button and share the video, because it really helps out the channel. And also, don't forget to subscribe if you want to stay up to date with the latest in entertainment news. Thank you.